Hey, hey guys, how are
Hello
you?
there, guys.
It's
How are
me,
you
Bassam,
guys?
and with Abzer. Uh, so today we are going to talk about more about our game and what are we implementing into our game, the UI, the character and environment artifacts. We went through a lot last week, 2 weeks ago, and we are going to go more through today. Okay, so first of all, as I talked about Creator, the application which I have on my screen right now, as you can see, it's an image creation and manipulation application. So I talked about this. You can do a tons of uh, things on this application, and uh, and I'm gonna go through a lot today. User expectations and support of the functionality of your game and 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 your website or a game, it's very important. A well executed user interface facilitates the effective interaction between the user and the program, in which in our cases is the game. So we must make sure that we have a really nice, really good UI, user interface, and the the assets we implement into our game, which such as the characters, the environmental assets, and so on and many more. So talking about the UI, I'm not gonna really go in depth into UI today because I have a lot of artifacts to go through today. But if we have time, we'll definitely go through. So just generally talking about user interface UI, it helps that players navigate through the game, find the right information, complete challenges, and unlock rewards. This interface must be right down to the smallest detail. Okay, so every detail, every small detail should be very important because this is what we see. So we must make sure that it should be visually appealing, and above all, functionality is sound. It should be sound. It should look legit in and okay, so who implements these UI is the UI designers. They experiment a lot of stuff with fonts to make them fit into the setting of the game. All right, so we must make sure it's equally important to make sure that the UI looks nice to your eyes. However, accessibility is equally or more important, as this is the user experience. So what you want to access, it should be very easy and very sound. So in Hala Justice, the game, our game, we have a lot of important UI elements such as main menu screen, level selection screen, and right after that we have the level design, the level information where you have the task and the description of the level screen and its following details, and about the missions and many more stuff. And we have the tutorial menu as well. So these are some of the key UI elements. And moreover, stuff like game over screen, pause menu screen, and other options, settings, credits, these are some of the UI elements, user interface elements. Furthermore, we also have you know, when you play the game, you have a screen on which you play where you can see the health bar, the stamina bar, the consumables, the inventory items. So these are also the user interface elements. So these should look sound and legit. So in order to have the best user experience. Uh, all right. In addition, now I'm going to go through artifacts. So what we are implementing these into the game. These are like you can say as a reward. Like artifacts could be a form of reward which you can unlock in the game by just collecting it, or eliminating a very high level enemy, which could drop some loot, which could be one of the artifacts which upon collecting you could get educational information, such as I'll go through many of them today. An artifact in general term is an item made or given shape by humans, such as a tool or a work of art, especially an object of archaeological interest. It is used in the museum as normally object in art history as artwork, or more specific term as carving. Like it's a very in-depth word for an artwork. It's like carving. The same item may be called as any of these in different contexts and more specific terms, which will be used when we'll talk about individual objects or group of similar ones. So the first one I'm going to go through is the this one, the bow and arrow I have, which we can call in wider words as archery. So archery is very popular in UAE and in the Middle East. Uh, so it's also a very form. It's an ancient or a very old game in the Middle East, the UAE. So I'm going to go through first of all, as I said last time, we need references. So you need to look a lot of references in order to get an image on what you want to create. So I'm going to just go through and show you guys what this looks like in real life. So here we can see this guy who is from the UAE. Looks like he's playing with archery. So this is what archery is. Okay, so sorry, just give me a second. Let me open that again. Just yeah. So here we have the real life model of the bow and arrow. So how we go with this is that first of all we need to create this. We see the reference images and get an idea. We start designing it. We have the brush tool here. You can have the color selector here. So just go ahead and just click on a layer and start designing it one by one, color by color. And you must do tests and trials in order to get the perfect image. So here's how I went through to get the this image done. So first of all, I did this. Then I went through bit by bit. Decided to look at the color palettes. So I have red here, I have brown, orange, yellow here, and I have green here. The black is for the outlines. And then I have finally done the bow, the arrow. The bow is done, the arrow is done separately. So this was actually done separately on another file. So I joined them together to make a complete bow and arrow. So this is one of the artifacts which we will put in the game. Uh, and to talk more about the archery and bow and arrow, in Abu Dhabi, we have Abu Dhabi International Hunting and Equestrian Exhibition, which offers a thousands of unique and experience for amateur archers or even beginners if you want to go train and learn by yourself. Uh, so it happens in ADIHEX, which I just said, Abu Dhabi International Hunting and Equestrian Exhibition. It's a truly unique interactive activity to discover personal capabilities and to challenge friends and other visitors. So this organizer organizes workshops and educational demonstration on archery. Is that's the main aim or motto of this brand. So I'll go with the next one. So the next I have for you is the axe, or you can say a dagger. This is a dagger, not an axe. So we have a lot of unique daggers from the past in the Asian history, which we can see in the museums of UAE today, and some of them I'll show you today. So what it looks like. So what I have here, this is a form of a dagger. Okay, this is a very ancient dagger. Then I have an axe here. This is an axe. So this is a very ancient axe as well. I'll talk about the details uh, in a few seconds. So what an actual traditional dagger looks like in the Middle East and then also in the UAE is this. This is called a khanjar. This is like a J letter dagger, and which is believed to be have origins in the Middle East, Oman, UAE. So these areas are thought to be the origins for this, or it could be maybe Saudi or even any of the Arab countries. But this is very popular in these areas in the past, and also in nowadays also. So for UAE, the khanjar has a long and rich history. It was once used for personal protection as a tool for hunting and is considered as a symbol of manhood. So it's an integral part of Emirati tradition and culture and was worn by the late Sheikh Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan, founding father of the UAE. In the olden days, carrying a dagger was not used as a means of self protection but as a symbol of associated with noble values, noble strength, dignity, courage, honor, nobility, and pride. So, so I'm gonna go through how we design this, and we will implement this into the game. So this is a dagger, just like a J. It's kind of J shape, not entirely, but since it's pixelated, it looks a little bit different. So we get done with the outline first, the black outline, the borders. Then we go through with the coloring. We look at the references and how to what colors we can use. So, for instance, here to hold how we the place we hold the dagger is consisted of green, black, blue. So you can have your own color palettes, color scheme. And then we have the main area, which is the blade. Since it's pixelated, I decided to go with the red and little bit of gray shade, so that it looks a bit unique and appealing to the eyes because of the colors. So as you can see, it's lighter on the front, so this is why it looks more appealing, better to the eyes. uh, okay, so next I'm going to go with this axe over here. So this is a very ancient axe, which is found in the UAE. So here is the an actual photo of the axe. This axe lay buried in the ground for about 3,000 years. So in the 1960s, a very long time ago, the late founding father of the UAE, Sheikh Zayed, invited foreign archaeologists to explore the Al Ain region, believing quite rightly that there is, an unexplored history that in the region. So a few years later, a team of archaeologists came up with this. They've discovered this in the grave of someone. Then they concluded the in the news that this was more than 3,000 years ago after a series of testing, and you know okay. And then we have here now next. So we decided this to implement this in our game also as an artifact, because of it's a very ancient, or it holds some symbol to the UAE culture theme. Uh, so as we know how we do things, how I do things, we get with the borders first, the outlines, and then we start coloring it up with the color you like. And then you do the this is the main part, the blades, and this is the where you hold the blade, or here, as we can see, it's this part here. So it kind of looks similar, or to differentiate, I we decided to go this way, because or otherwise it might look dull, so we need to make it look like an artifact. So this is why it's kind of different colored over here. All right, moving on. Next, we have, and please feel free to answer or ask any questions if you have for me or for my team. We will make sure we answer all your questions. Um, okay, so this is the bow we did earlier. This is also one of the uh, axe, you can say, although it doesn't look like an axe, but this is an axe. So it was also discovered in the Abu Dhabi, in the UAE, from the Al Hajar Mountains. So it's an area in UAE, Al Hajar Mountains, to the east of Al Ain. So these mountains were a major source of precious metals and fueled an innovative metalworking tradition in the UAE. And from there we found this axe or dagger, you may say. uh, and and it was this dagger was the which I showed was presented in the Louvre Museum in Abu Dhabi. So it's one of the this was a France developed and a museum in the UAE, and it's frequently presents lots of artifacts from the world and from the UAE. And it's a historic narrative of art that spans the entire history of civilization and emphasizes the shared human experience. Uh, Moving on. So if you want, oh sorry, this one doesn't have any layers because this is another file, but the main file, I think I have lost it, or I might need to find it. So sorry about that. Anyways, you guys are sure that how to go through and design this. We have the mirror tool here, and you can start doing one side, and then automatically you can do on the other side. And also make sure, if you're going to design something like this, I would preferably go and start when I create a new file, make sure it is at least like 16 by 16 or 32 by 32. So it must be like 32 by 32 or 16 by 16, so that it's very easy to do on a small scale. You can do by pixel, and then when you have the image ready, then you can just upscale it, or even if you like downscale it. But of course you cannot do something with so small size. So you upscale it by, for example, this one is upscaled by 200 px, although it was done on 32 px pixels. uh, In addition, now we are going to go with the books of very popular books of UAE. Uh, um, so, uh, so we decided to implement these artifacts as a book in the game, just as artifacts. So this could be one of the two books, or which we haven't decided on, to which one we are going to consider it as to be implemented into the game for educational purpose. So one of the books is this one, from Rags to Riches: A Story of Abu Dhabi by Muhammad Al Fahim. And this one is the book by Sheikh Muhammad bin Rashid Al Maktoum, the ruler of Dubai. And this book, and we made this book so to signify one of these two books. And upon collecting, so how is this going to work in our game is that maybe one of the enemies might drop it, or you might collect it from place in the game, and you might collect this as an artifact. And this artifact could be used. So this book, what would this book do? This would be used for educational purpose, to educate people about one of these books. And that's the message behind this book. So it's most likely to be this book, although we haven't decided. But this is because it is an ancient book. It's a very old book. So talking more about this book, this book highlights the rapid development from the earliest days of the crucial states to a modern city and emirate, which provides deep insight into the history of Abu Dhabi. And this book, it's as its name suggests, this book is one of the man's vision and roadmap to great leadership qualities and inspiration to the rise of the nation. and aspirations for the future. So these books are most likely to be implemented into the game. Um, Moving on, I'm just gonna close a bit of few things here. We went through these. Next, I'm going to talk about the karak chai. So you must have heard the word karak or karak. Uh, so what does this mean? Karak chai. This is a chai. This is chai. So this is basically meaning tea. Tea. It means strong, and chai, and it means uh, thick, flavorful, and caramel flavored, much stronger than the regular cup of tea. So karak, that's what karak means. That it's not a normal tea. It's a flavored tea which is much stronger. So it's supercharged sweet milk tea with strong flavor of spices like cardamom, ginger, cinnamon, and saffron. So it's a flavored tea which is and if you plan to visit UAE, you will find this very common in our streets and areas. So we decided to implement this as a consumable, you can say, or as an artifact, or either both. So this is a karak portion, a tea portion, which is basically the karak chai here. Instead of keeping as a cup, it's as a portion. Like in games, we have portions which you can just consume to gain some abilities or power up your armor or health or anything. So this is a correct portion, and and here's how we go through to create this. So we have done the outline first, then we have the main area where we have the fluid, the karak chai. The color resembles, as I said, the sweet flavor, the flavor of cardamom and spices, and then we have the top to cover up the test tube with the tube with the covering, so that it looks like a potion which we need to consume by removing the top lid. So moving on, here we have the Expo 2020 logo. This is gonna be put into our game in level 2, since it's modern themed game level. So this was just happened last year in 2020 in Dubai. So a mega event happened from which had millions of visitors from all over the world. It was one of the most successful events in the history of UAE. So this was the logo. It's pixelated right now, but the main logo is looks very clean and clear. This looks clear as well, but in pixelated form. So we are gonna put this as an artifact in our game. So as I said, like any other artifact, when you collect it, you will learn about the artifact, or maybe if you have some idea what we can do with our artifacts in our game. So do let us know. For now, the main aim is to educate people, whether it's young or adult, to how about the artifact which you collect. So if you collect this artifact, we're gonna educate you what this is, why is this important to the UAE, and in the Middle East and in the world. Uh, so that's everything from my side. And if you have any queries, questions, any suggestions, advice, do let us know. Thank you so much. And my colleague Abzer will go through with you now.
Hello there, guys. Thank you, Bassam, for giving us the interesting history lesson regarding our artifacts. That is awesome, by the way.
Thank
All right,
you.
we're gonna move on and do character animations. So give me a second. Let me just open my screen share. All right. Is it up, Bassam?
Yeah, I can see it.
All right. So on the top here, you can. This is the attack animation for the elite enemy or like the mini boss. So I'm using this as a reference. So you can see here that there's a lots of frames for this animation. The anticipation animation is what used up most of the frames. You can see from here that this is the idle one, and from here you can see how the character is slowly lifting up his sword, like he's reading and charging it up to do the heavy swing. And his feet is also his left foot is also getting up from the ground as he's taking charge to do the strike. After this frame, he does the strike, and you can see like he when he stomps the foot, the dust particles are also flowing. I also did the animation for that, so it feels like he's giving all his force and weight on his front leg. Yeah. Okay. So and here is the recovery. The recovery animation is just a single frame, just a single frame for recovery. Okay, so we're gonna try and use all these animations for for the minion enemies. So this is the idle animation, the idle frame for the enemy, and we're gonna start with how the minions' hands are gonna go up and being getting ready for the strike. So it's gonna be somewhat similar to the animation here on the top side. We're gonna twist it up a bit. Okay, his hand looks a bit weird, so we're gonna fix that up. The animating part of the characters is one of the most challenging parts because there are lots of frames, and each frame itself can take from 10 to 30 minutes, sometimes an hour, depending on how detailed it is. So I'll try to do as fast as possible and try to complete as much frames as possible. So bear with me if my sketches don't look as detailed as it's supposed to look. go. Yeah, it's done. Here we're gonna copy this frame. This is gonna be frame three, the third frame. Also, always make sure that you guys are, when doing character animations, when spreadsheet animations, make sure that you're always painting on the right layer. Because let's say that you are going to do the third frame of the animation, and you accidentally select the layer for the first animation, and then let's say you paint something here, and by the time you realize that you have to do the whole thing again, or like switch some stuff, it's a lot, it's time consuming if you accidentally do it on the wrong layer. So yeah, just as I said, I accidentally selected frame one here, the first layer, instead of choosing the third layer. See? Yeah. Instead of let's say instead of just erasing the whole thing, like let's say the arms and then painting it again, you can just do what I did here. Just select the arm and sorry for that. Yeah, you select the arm and then you can just tweak it a bit. You put it over here and see if it matches up, like the arm movements. Yeah, now he looks like he's charging up the attack. So like one more frame for the anticipation and animation should be enough, just for the anticipation animation. Like 3 frames, 4 frames for the anticipation. We are again going to do the copy pasting. Also, by the way, when you finish doing all the frames, you'll have to do lots of tweaking up and extra adjustment. Like you can see how the sword here looks uh, very weird, like doesn't have a proper pattern. So you'll have to fix that up once you're done with your frames. We're gonna see how this one's gonna work out. There's gonna be lots of trial and error when doing animations. You might have to redo the same thing again and again until you get it right. Oh, all right.
Well,
Hey there, guys. Sorry, there was some technical issue. Now it's all fixed up, so we apologize for that. So yeah, we're gonna continue on our stream now. So yeah, as I was saying, I don't know if you guys missed anything of what I said earlier. So I'm just gonna just do a quick recap about the character animation. So yeah, we're on our fourth frame, the fourth layer, and we're gonna do the finishing up on the anticipation animation. So as I said, we'll have to do some tweaks on the sword because when you turn them and transform them, the pixels act up weird, you know. So we'll have to fix that and stuff. So right now, we are gonna focus on the swinging animation right here.
I had a question for you earlier, Abzer.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
sure.
I asked you how much time does it take for you to create one animation, one complete animation?
Oh yeah, you did ask me. Sorry about that. Yeah. So for me, depends on what kind of animation it is. For example, for the top one here, it took me maybe an hour or so. Yeah, it took almost an hour because the hardest part of doing the animation is not actually designing it, but choosing the poses and stances for each frame. You know, because let's say here you see how by frame how the character is moving, right? So I had to decide on what part of his body is moving and you know how far it should move, and I had to sync up the movement of his arms and with his legs, so it should all look synchronized. You know, the movement, the leg and arm movements.
Yep.
So that was the real hard part, just deciding on what pose and how the pose should go. The designing comes after that. The designing is easy. You just edit existing frames and then tweak them up a bit. And as you saw earlier, I just copy pasted it and then transformed the hand. Just turned it a bit here and there and stuff.
Totally get it. Consistency is the key. Things
Yep.
should, things should look consistent so they look
Yeah.
appealing good to your eyes.
I think the anticipation animation is ready. So once, sometimes let's say you finish the animation, like you do all the frames, and when you finally put it in the game and implement it, you will see that the frames does not look smooth. Like so, you might want to add some extra few frames, maybe like a one or two frames, sometimes three or four, depends. So a general rule of making a frame animation spreadsheet animations are for attack animations, you might want a minimum of 8 frames, that is including the anticipation, the execution, and the recovery phase of the attack animation. So that's like at least 8 frames. You can also do with 6, I guess, but it won't look as smooth as you might want it to look like. We're going to smoothen out the sword here. Yeah, I had to fix the sword on this one, and this one. So just gonna I also had to fix the shading on this hand, but I'm just gonna move on here with the swiping of the striking of the sword. So one thing I did not do here, I kind of ignored it basically, was the movement of the legs. You see, if you compare with compare the spreadsheet animation of the top and bottom, you can see how the top one has. You can see how, as I told you before, his legs are moving up. Like you can actually feel that he's he's charging up his body for a heavy attack. But here there is no movement. The only movement you can see here is his arm. So it's not because I decided to not include such movements, but as we're short on time here, I'm just gonna focus solely on the striking animation, just the striking of the arm, and we'll see if we have time to adjust the feet and legs and stuff. That one looked at sword looked weird, so it's kind of a bit weird, just doing it like this. So I'll just do much better. Image manipulation is an awesome thing. Yeah, and now we're gonna do some glow effect. Not glow, but like the reflection for the sword. Not a reflection either, but you know how the sword glows and glistens, how the metal sparkles and stuff.
Shading.
Yeah, not exactly the shading, but like how metals show the light thing here, right? How
Yeah,
the light reflects here and there. Yeah,
to show that the weapon is a metal, it should look shiny because it's a
yeah,
metal.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, shiny. Exactly.
The
That was
sword.
what I was looking for. We're gonna make it look a bit shiny. Thank you, Bassam. You helped me try to find my words there.
No worries.
Also, guys, don't forget to save. You always have to save it. You don't want to lose any of your progress and have to do it, redo it all over again. That's gonna be a hassle. So we're gonna give this do this thingy so we can actually see that the strike. I don't know what to call it, but when the animation is done and when you implement it in the game, and when you run the animation, there's a swing thing. You can actually feel the swing. You can see how the sword is swinging. Like you can feel the heaviness of the sword from the swing animation. You can change the color up a bit. Uh, orange, yellow. Yeah, choosing colors is also is also one of the hard part. Like, uh, you have to make sure that the colors match up with the rest of the background or the character. Just gonna go with this. Just a second, guys. Sorry. Yeah, sorry about that. That was my mom. So, yeah, pretty good about the swing thingy, the swing swish, whatever you call it. Yeah. So let's go with that. Now keep in mind that you'll also have to fix the legs, like how the character is. As you can see here, character is lifting his leg up and reading his posture for a swing, for a heavy swing. So I haven't done that leg movement thingy. So I'll be doing that. Also, we are almost nearing at the end of our stream. So maybe we can have like 2 or 5 minutes. So I'm just going to wrap this up. Yeah, we're sorry we didn't actually get to complete the whole animation. Like after this, we have the recovery animation, which is like 3 frames for the recovery. Maybe like 2 frames or 1 frame. Maybe we'll see about that. Let me just save this quick. Yeah, so that's gonna be it for today. Maybe we can continue more character animations and spreadsheet animations in our coming streams in the future. So just tune in. So now I'm gonna stop the screen share. All right. Hey, Bassam.
Hey,
Yeah. So that's it, guys. That's it for today's stream. So, Bassam, anything you wanna add?
thank you so much for your participation. I hope we can entertain you more, teach you more, educate you. And if you have any queries or anything else you want to share with us or you would like to know from us, do let us know. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
guys. Shoot us a question on Discord. Like, if you wanna know stuff, if you wanna like want materials on how to do character animations, like I can share you a tons of resources. There are lots of resources online if you want to learn character spreadsheet animations. We can actually send some resources to you if you ask us on Discord, on our Discord channel. And yeah, so that's it. And we are gonna wrap up now.
Thank you.